Now let me ask you guys something real quick. Have you seen these pictures of James Franco that are going viral right now? Because when I saw them, I had to do a double take. And I'm not even trying to be mean, but wow. This man has aged like milk that got left out on the counter. Like an avocado you bought with good intentions, forgot about, and now it's got about 3 hours left before it's completely done. Life came at him fast. James Franco was once considered one of Hollywood's golden boys. Talented, charming everywhere. Movies, interviews, red carpets, the whole package. A lot of women thought he was extremely attractive. Studios trusted him. Directors loved him. He had access to everything. And then in 2018, everything changed when serious allegations came out against him. Allegations that, whether people want to admit it or not, completely derailed his career. He didn't just quietly step away, he was effectively pushed out. Projects disappeared. Roles dried up. His name stopped being mentioned the way it once was. And since then, he's been trying to slowly, carefully make his way back into the industry. Every now and then, you'll hear that he's attached to a project or trying to rebuild his image. But let's be honest, his life and career were completely railroaded, permanently altered. And now these new photos surface and people are talking, not just about how he looks, but about what happens when consequences finally catch up to you. Fame has a way of protecting people for a long time. It cushions them. It gives them money, power, influence, and the illusion that nothing will ever touch them. But eventually real life shows up. Stress shows up. Accountability shows up. Aging shows up. And it shows up fast when you've been living recklessly. We've seen this pattern again and again. When someone allegedly mistreats others, abuses power, or thinks they're untouchable, time has a way of exposing everything. Look at what's happening with Diddy right now. Once one of the most powerful men in music, now sitting behind bars. That didn't happen overnight. That was years and years of behavior finally coming back around. And no, this isn't about celebrating anyone's downfall. It's about recognizing that actions matter. Choices matter. How you treat people matters. Because eventually the protection wears off. Hollywood is very forgiving, until it's not. Now, while all of this is happening, another situation is unfolding that deserves attention. Attorney Tony Busby has responded to a $25 million defamation lawsuit that was recently filed by Marcy Croft on behalf of Roc Nation. And if you saw his response, you already know he did not hold back. Busby basically said they made a major mistake. According to him, the lawsuit was filed in the wrong state, and he's confident it will be thrown out. He even went as far as to refer to Marcy Croft as a bottom feeder, which definitely raised eyebrows, but also sparked a lot of conversation. And honestly, people are debating whether that word was harsh, but others are saying it fits the situation perfectly. Because from where many are standing, this lawsuit feels less about justice and more about trying to profit off someone else's legal battles. Let's be clear here. Jay-Z previously attempted defamation claims related to alleged financial losses, reportedly around $20 million, and those cases were dismissed by Judge Epstein. Nothing stuck. No payout. No victory. So now, suddenly, there's a $25 million defamation lawsuit? Filed improperly? That raises questions. If this were such a strong, airtight case, why wasn't it filed correctly? Why are there jurisdiction issues? Lawyers don't just accidentally make those kinds of mistakes when millions of dollars are on the line. Unless the case itself isn't as solid as they're claiming. And the number itself is interesting. 25 million. Jay-Z allegedly claimed 20 million in losses. So people are naturally wondering, if this had gone through, where exactly would that money have gone? Who benefits? That's why Busby seems confident. He's already seen these tactics before, and according to him, they haven't worked. And he's made it very clear that he's not backing down. Now, while that legal drama continues to unfold, the biggest and most talked about moment right now involves Diddy's children, specifically Christian Combs. A video has been circulating, an interview, where Christian is asked about possibly leaving the United States. And while he tries to laugh it off at first, he eventually admits that yes, he's considering moving to Africa. Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa. And when the interviewer presses him, asking whether this decision has anything to do with his father's situation, his reaction says everything. He doesn't outright deny it. He says the pressure would upset anyone. He says it's safer. He laughs, but it's the kind of laugh people do when they're uncomfortable and trying to deflect. And I'll be honest with you, I fully believe this is about Diddy. I believe Christian Combs wants to leave the US because things are getting too hot. The constant paparazzi, the street interviews, The backlash. The questions he doesn't have good answers for. It's exhausting. And it's not helping his career. If this interview is recent, and all signs point to it being recent, then this looks less like a lifestyle decision and more like someone waiting for the storm to pass. And can you blame him? Every time he steps outside, he's being asked about his father. Every time he posts, people flood his comments. Every time he tries to promote music, the conversation shifts back to Diddy. But here's the thing, and this is where the frustration comes in, this didn't have to go this way. Christian and the rest of Diddy's children had options. Real options. And instead, they chose the worst possible approach. Rather than staying quiet or making a thoughtful, compassionate statement acknowledging the victims while maintaining love for their father, they chose visibility. Parties, appearances, social media posts, reality TV ideas, public support without accountability. And that doesn't land well. At all. When there are serious allegations, lawsuits, and video evidence circulating, the public expects a certain level of awareness. Silence would have been understood. Privacy would have been respected. Even a simple statement saying, "We love our father, but we don't support harm, and we acknowledge the pain of those affected," would have gone a long way. Instead, what people saw was partying. And that's where everything started to fall apart. Now here's where things really start to go sideways, because once the backlash began, instead of recalibrating, Diddy's children doubled down on visibility. And that's the part people are reacting to so strongly. The public isn't confused, they're offended. Because what they're seeing doesn't match the seriousness of the situation. Let's talk about the Combs twins for a second. When they went online talking about ignoring the haters, a lot of people misunderstood what that backlash was actually about. This wasn't about 50 Cent. It wasn't even about the documentary. Those conversations existed, sure, but that's not why people were upset. People were upset because it felt tone-deaf. At a time when there are multiple victims, ongoing lawsuits, and deeply disturbing allegations being discussed openly, watching the children of the accused post carefree content, attend high-profile parties, and try to maintain influencer-style relevance came off as disrespectful. Whether that was their intention or not doesn't even matter anymore. Perception is everything. And the internet reacts to perception. That ignore the haters mindset might work when people are criticizing your outfit or your music. It does not work when people are responding to alleged abuse, violence, and long-standing patterns of harm. In moments like this, the public expects humility, restraint, and empathy. Not confidence. Not clapping back. Not pretending nothing is happening. And that's why one person keeps standing out in contrast. Chance. Chance has taken the opposite approach. No loud statements. No public partying. No chasing attention. Private accounts. Quiet support handled offline. And because of that, she's receiving far less backlash. Not because people agree with her, but because she's not provoking them. Silence, in this case, is not guilt. Silence is self-awareness. What the others failed to realize is that being seen right now is not a win. Visibility is not power in a scandal like this. Visibility becomes a spotlight, and not the flattering kind. Now let's talk about Christian Combs specifically, because this is where the career angle really collapses. Christian has been trying, hard, to establish himself as an artist. Songs, collaborations, performances, big-name features, opportunities most people would never get in a lifetime. And despite all of that, it wasn't working even before his father's legal troubles exploded. Let's be honest, the music didn't stick. The branding didn't stick. The public response was lukewarm at best. So now, add this situation on top of that, a tainted name, non-stop controversy, and public frustration, and suddenly the roadblock becomes massive. Brands won't touch you. Playlists won't push you. Labels get nervous. Even collaborators hesitate, because nobody wants their project pulled into a firestorm. And that's why this idea of leaving the country keeps coming up. But here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Leaving the US doesn't fix the problem. The internet follows you everywhere. You can go to Cape Town. You can go to Johannesburg. You can go to Ghana, Nigeria, wherever you want. And guess what? The headlines still exist. The videos still exist. The comments still exist. The association still exists. You don't escape controversy by changing your location. You escape it by changing your behavior. And if Christian really wanted privacy, he wouldn't have announced it. He would have just gone. Quietly. No interview. No teasing it. No headlines. The announcement itself reveals the real issue, attention addiction. These kids grew up in fame, cameras, luxury, access, validation. That's all they've ever known. And when the source of that fame becomes toxic, they don't know how to function without it. That's why even in crisis, they're still posting, still appearing, still chasing relevance. And that attachment, it's unhealthy. Because here's the uncomfortable question people are asking. How is all of this being funded? Flights, luxury accommodations, security, studio time, lifestyle. It's not coming from music sales, which means the connection to their father's wealth hasn't been severed. And that's another reason the public isn't buying the narrative. You can't publicly defend someone, benefit from their money, and then act confused about why people are upset. That contradiction is what keeps fueling the backlash. And let me be very clear about something. No one is asking these children to abandon their father. That expectation does not exist. Loving your parent is human. Wanting them safe is human. Showing up to court is understandable. What people are asking for is accountability. Either be quiet or be responsible. A single, thoughtful statement acknowledging the victims, stating that harm is wrong, and committing to education or advocacy would have completely shifted the narrative. Even opening a charity, even partnering with organizations focused on awareness and prevention. That would have shown growth. That would have shown maturity. That would have shown understanding. Instead, what the public got was parties, reality TV rumors, and social media posts that felt disconnected from reality. And that's why the backlash intensified. Now let's talk about the courtroom moment, because this is where emotions ran high. When Diddy's children were present, visibly emotional, crying, pleading for his freedom, that hit a nerve. Not because people don't understand love for a parent, but because of what that plea represented. To many viewers, it felt like the victims were being erased. It felt like the message was, our pain matters more than yours. And in cases involving alleged abuse, that's a line you cannot cross publicly without consequences. When you advocate for someone's release while victims are still seeking justice, it creates the impression that you don't believe them, or worse, that you don't care. And that perception is devastating. That's why people are saying the children deserve criticism. Not because they're grieving, not because their family is falling apart, but because they are adults making public choices. And adulthood comes with responsibility. You don't get a free pass from accountability because you're famous. You don't get a free pass because you grew up rich. You don't get a free pass because your mother passed away. Tragedy explains behavior. It does not excuse harmful decisions. And that's why people are done tiptoeing. The public has reached a point where they're saying, enough. We're not prioritizing comfort over safety anymore. We're not ignoring patterns anymore. We're not pretending video evidence doesn't exist. And if the children want this man free without addressing the damage left behind, then yes, people will call that out. Because progress means protecting future victims, not restoring comfort to powerful families. And that's where this all circles back to PR, or rather, the lack of it. Everything about how this has been handled screams mismanagement. Poor advice. Bad timing. Worse judgment. Reality TV plans during active lawsuits? Trailers celebrating luxury while accusations stack up? That's not just tone deaf, that's reckless. Who signed off on that? Because if there was ever a moment to pull everything, disappear, regroup, and rethink, this was it. And they didn't. At this point, public sympathy has completely collapsed. And that didn't happen overnight. It eroded slowly, choice by choice, post by post, appearance by appearance. Sympathy is a fragile thing. You don't lose it because of one mistake. You lose it because people watch you ignore every opportunity to do better. What we're seeing now is the end result of that. The public is no longer confused. They're no longer waiting to see. They've made up their minds about how this situation is being handled. Not legally, but socially and morally. And once that happens, there's no PR campaign in the world that can reverse it quickly. This is where fame turns on you. Fame is great when it amplifies success. It's brutal when it amplifies poor judgment. Everything becomes louder. Every misstep becomes permanent. Every clip lives forever. And for Diddy's children, especially the sons, that amplification has worked against them at every turn. Let's talk about long-term damage, because this is the part people underestimate. This isn't just about now. This isn't just about backlash this month or headlines this year. This follows you. Labels remember. Brands remember. Executives remember. People in rooms you'll never see remember how you behaved when it mattered. And right now, the reputation being built is not one of maturity or leadership. It's one of entitlement, detachment, and emotional immaturity. That matters. Because even if the legal chapters eventually close, the cultural memory doesn't. The internet doesn't forget. Audiences don't forget. And when your name becomes synonymous with controversy, you don't get the benefit of doubt anymore. You get the side eye. Christian Combs trying to build a music career in this environment is like trying to launch a boat while the tide is pulling it backward. Every release gets overshadowed. Every lyric gets scrutinized. Every success is questioned. And that's not fair, but it is reality. And the uncomfortable truth is this: nepotism only works when the public is willing to tolerate it. When goodwill exists, people look the other way. When goodwill disappears, privilege becomes offensive. The same access that once impressed people now irritates them. The same opportunities now feel undeserved. That's why comments are harsher. That's why patience is gone. That's why people are saying, enough. And then there's the idea of running away, emotionally, socially, geographically. Announcing plans to leave the country doesn't read as healing. It reads as avoidance. It reads as someone wanting distance from consequences, not reflection on them. And the public can tell the difference. If the goal were peace, silence would have come first. If the goal were growth, accountability would have come first. If the goal were privacy, cameras wouldn't be involved at all. Instead, what people see is dramatics without substance. And that's why this moment feels like a turning point. Because for the first time, the children of a powerful figure are being treated like adults, not protected heirs. The public isn't shielding them anymore. They're holding them to the same standard they demand from everyone else. And frankly, that's overdue. Let's address something important here. No one is denying their pain. Watching your parent fall from power is traumatic. Seeing your family name dragged is devastating. Living under a microscope is exhausting. Those emotions are real, and they deserve compassion. But compassion does not cancel responsibility. You can be hurting and still wrong. You can be grieving and still careless. You can love your father and still acknowledge harm. Those things can coexist, and adults are expected to hold that complexity. What made people truly angry wasn't the love. It was the lack of awareness, the inability or refusal to read the room. The choice to center personal discomfort over collective harm. That's what broke the relationship with the audience. And here's the part no one in their circle seems willing to say out loud. Sometimes the smartest move is to disappear for a while. Not to announce it. Not to brand it. Not to monetize it. Just to sit down. Learn. Listen. Reevaluate. No parties. No promos. No interviews. No music drops. Because healing, real healing, is quiet. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need attention. And that's why Chance's approach continues to stand out. Not because she's doing anything flashy, but because she's doing nothing at all. And in this situation, that restraint speaks volumes. Now, let's be real about the final outcome here. The Combs family name is permanently changed. There's no restoring it to what it was. There's no going back to normal. The only option forward is reinvention through accountability. And that takes time. Years, not months. Some doors will never reopen. Some audiences will never return. Some opportunities are gone forever. That's not punishment, that's consequence. And the faster that reality is accepted, the faster real growth can begin. Because what the public is asking for isn't perfection. It's sincerity. It's humility. It's acknowledgement. It's proof that lessons were learned. Right now, people don't see that yet. They see defensiveness. They see denial. They see attachment to luxury and lifestyle. They see fame being prioritized over integrity. And until that changes, the backlash will continue, no matter where anyone moves, posts, or performs. So yes, Christian Combs talking about leaving the US might feel like relief in the moment. But it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't reset the narrative. And it doesn't rebuild trust. Only actions do that. Quiet ones. Consistent ones. Responsible ones. And until then, the criticism isn't going anywhere. Because this isn't about gossip anymore. It's about values. It's about accountability. And it's about whether powerful families are finally willing to accept that the rules apply to them too. And on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. Drop your thoughts in the comments, respectfully. Let's keep the conversation honest, not hateful. If you agree, disagree, or see this differently, say it. Just say it with sense. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and join the community. One click, that's it. I'll catch you in the next one. Oh yeah, at the end of the day, this whole situation is a reminder that fame doesn't protect you forever, money doesn't erase accountability, and being connected to power doesn't mean you're exempt from consequences. Whether it's celebrities aging in front of our eyes after their careers implode, or families struggling to navigate scandals they didn't create but still benefit from, the truth always finds its way to the surface. You can try to outrun it, rebrand it, move countries, or pretend it's not happening, but none of that changes reality. What people respect is honesty, growth, and knowing when to sit down and listen instead of performing for attention. And until that happens, the backlash isn't going anywhere. Let me know what you think in the comments. Keep it respectful, but keep it real. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and join the community. I appreciate every single one of you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.